Food for Life this week. Welcome, Julie. I am so excited about our guest this week. It's another fellow Western Masser who grew up here and has since moved away. And oh, yes, Julie's reminding me. I know you guys are going to get sick of me saying this. I always forget to tell people who we are. I am Ashley Tresleen. I am the owner of Bella Foodie. I am a personal chef and food educator. And Julie, my friend, is a food blogger and mother who loves to cook and get the food on the table quickly, is how she puts it, right?
Yeah, we got to eat around here. We got to do it fast. Things move very quickly in the McGill household. So yeah, very quickly. Super excited for our guest today because I am a reality TV addict and he's also a former reality TV star. So we're super excited for today. So Ashley, what about you? You excited for today?
I am, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions when we get to that part of it. But let's welcome our guest in today. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Bill, we like to have our guests tell everyone who they are and what they do in their own words first.
Oh, okay. Great. I'm Bill Posley. Who am I? God. I am... I guess I'm a comedian, actor, a writer, director, kind of all of that. I grew up in Western Mass and then decided to kind of get out. I joined the National Guard, joined the Army, and then I did I went overseas. I did a tour overseas. And when I came back, I was like, I want to go follow my dream. I want to do this thing. So I moved to Los Angeles to work in the film industry. And I have basically done that for the last 20 years, just been working in the film industry and making different, working TV, movies, live performance, whatever opportunities presented themselves, I took them. And so, yeah, that's me.
Okay. So as somebody that grew up in Western Mass, we have a fun announcement. You're coming home for some shows do you still have family that lives here?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So all my cousins still live there. And a lot of my friends still live there. So I love Western Mass so much. It's so funny when you're a kid, you're like, I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to go on my own and you leave this place in the dust. And then as you get older, it's funny. I was back a month ago driving around and I was just like, it's so beautiful. I love the trees and this, everything is gorgeous and it's so nice and everybody, and I miss that everybody's just a friend of mine puts it, they're they're not nice, they're kind. You know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it. People from Western Mass are they'll tell you exactly how you feel. They don't give they humble you like that. They'll say, this isn't funny. This doesn't look good. They are not nice, but they are kind. They will pull over the side of the road and change a tire with you. And that's the best. And I love Western Mass for that.
And you're okay with coming home to tell some new jokes and things and share?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm coming home December 1st and 2nd at 8 p.m. to perform at the MGM Casino.
Yay. And so tell us a little bit about the show. I know it's not just you performing though, right?
Right. So I'm still going to be doing a traditional 50 minutes of stand-up, but my opening acts are going to be local Western Mass talent. So one of the reasons why I was doing the show is because growing up, I was too scared to do stand-up in my middle school or in my high school, and I chickened out and never actually got a chance to perform here. And so I wanted to kind of overcome that fear and give myself an opportunity to do that again. So in order to do that, I had to recreate a talent show. So I reached out to local Western Mass performers and asked them if they would kind of be my opening act so we could simulate a actual talent show. So there's going to be a singer, a sketch group, another stand-up comedian who's kind of just starting out and getting their stuff together and putting themselves out there. And so the three of them are going to make up the talent show, and then I'm going to ultimately close the show after that. And the name of the show is Bill Does the Talent Show. So
that's too funny. So were you a shy kid?
So yeah, I was, and I wasn't. I was an insecure kid. I think that's the better way to put it. So I used to be 250 pounds. So I was extremely overweight. And so growing up, traditional kind of fat kid syndrome, which was you didn't want to draw any more attention to yourself than was already drawn to yourself in that kind of capacity. So a lot of my humor came from trying to be funny so that it would distract people from making fun of me, or if I could make fun of myself before other people made fun of me, it was that kind of a thing. But getting up on stage and performing was putting myself in too much of the social crosshairs that I didn't necessarily want to be in. And so, so because of that, I was always scared to put myself out there in that kind of a way, or put myself in the spotlight. And so, obviously I lost, through diet and and food and the Army, I lost a bunch of the weight, and obviously my diet helped me keep it off. And so I, had the courage in Los Angeles to do it and put myself out there. And so ever since then, I've been performing, but the one place I never got a chance to perform is at home. So everybody I went to high school with who's coming, all my cousins who are coming, they've never seen me perform. So
is that more nerve-wracking to know that you're among your peers and people that know you on a personal level versus strangers? Or how do you feel about that?
1,000 times more nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
1,000 times. Because other audiences don't know me, and more so, not even that they don't know me. It's just I don't care what they think. If they like me or don't like me or whatever, I don't care. But my friends and family, I care what they think. And not only do I care, they will tell me what they think.
There's nothing more humbling than family. Like when I cook a dish and I give it to my family, they're like, yeah, no, I don't like this.
Yeah, it's the worst. It is the worst. And so I'm scared. And also because I'm doing it in Western Mass, I've written, new material for just the people in Springfield specifically, or in Western Mass specifically. So it's also a bunch of new stuff. So it's, it's scary to put up new stuff. So I'm excited to be outside of my comfort zone again and get up and do all this performance.
I want to go back to you were a 200-pound kid. What prompted you to get healthy? Because you have to pass fitness tests before you even get into the Army, from what I know from everyone that's signed up.
Yeah. So I would say probably my junior year of high school, I probably hit my max weight. And so that summer I decided to do football, which was not a good choice, but I wanted to lose some weight so that way I could go into the military the next year. And so I did. I lost 20 pounds and I got down to 230, 225, somewhere in there. And I was capable of getting in, because at that point, it isn't so much how much you weigh as much as it is your body fat percentage. And so I did what's called the tape test, and I ended up testing enough in to be able to join.
Can you tell us what the tape test is? I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is either.
So it's when they take your measurements, they take measurements, and then they do some sort of, now they do it with machines where you can pinch.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah. And now I think scales just do it. They'll give you a body fat percentage based off of how you're weighing in. But, in the aughts, in the early aughts, the only way they could do it was they did tape testing. So they tested your muscle versus your fat, basically. And as long as that percentage was, I think I can't even remember what the number was, but as long as it was under a certain number, then you were okay. Plus also I think the Army's like, we got a fresh new crop of somebody who wants to get in. Go, just get in, go.
What's your diet like there?
I was
Like,
gonna
what do
say-
you guys eat?
in the Army.
Yeah.
Oh man, they are. So when I first got there, it was, you know, you can eat whatever you want. You literally, I mean, to a certain extent, right? But like, there are a lot of people who have the opposite of what I have, who need to like gain weight, bulk up, get bigger. You're burning thousands and thousands of calories on a daily basis. So you need to like consume. So I mean, I remember the first day of basic training, they wake us up like 3:00 in the morning. We go on this like 3-mile run. I'm like, we're exhausted. We get to the chow hall and like, it's just like Southern Black women cooking the best food you've ever seen in your life. I mean, it is grits, it is bacon, it is sausage, it is egg, and like steam is just coming off. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to eat this. And then a drill sergeant like taps me on the shoulder and is like, you're in the wrong line, aren't you, big boy? And I was like, what? This little cart that had hard-boiled eggs, oatmeal, Greek yogurt, and fruit. And that was I ate that every morning for 9 weeks straight.
Oh, wow.
But everyone else had like French toast, had like pancakes, had all of this stuff. And so that was like my first, but I went from 225 to 185 in 9 weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big change.
That was a big change. Big change. Yeah.
How did you feel going from 250 down to 185 and in a relatively short period of time? I mean,
yeah,
physical, like
it was, I mean, I felt good. I felt like I was in great shape. I mean, there's that, I don't know if anybody remembers that scene in like The Nutty Professor when he loses the weight and goes and tries on spandex for the first time and tries on like tight fitting clothes. So like, not only do you lose the weight, but it's like, you only wear what the Army issued you.
mm-hmm.
So like I'm still in like double XL clothing. And still in all of the things that I was, in. And so when we got out of basic training, I went to a mall for the first time and I was just like, I was like, bring me that, give me that. Cause like when I was a kid, they don't do it anymore. But back in the day, it was like small, medium, large, husky. And I was like in the husky category. And so there was only certain colors of clothes, size of clothes, certain types of clothes that I could wear. And so the idea that I could just like pick something up off the rack was crazy. So I was just like trying on all these clothes and stuff like that. But what I didn't realize is it's easier to lose the weight than it is to keep it off.
Yeah.
And so I started putting weight back on once I was not in that basic training thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh no. So I shot back up to 200. And then that was the first time I was like, oh, I have to learn how to eat. I have to learn how to like actually eat food and prepare a diet and be conscious of what I'm putting in my body. And that was like the first time that ever happened.
So that's what I teach people, like how I teach my clients, that like being a diet isn't the only thing. Like you have to learn how your body works, because like all these crazy diets people have, like it's not a long-term solution for anything. You have to learn how to physically be well. So what health practices do you do today? And do you actually like to cook for yourself? Or is that even possible out in LA? Or is there so many healthy places everywhere?
It does help that there's a ton of healthy places, but I do love to cook. I cook for myself a lot. And, I think I learned a ton about what I like how my body, like you said, how my body functions. I think, one of the things that I try and do is like not call it a diet, right? It's just the way I eat now. It's like it's not a part-time thing. It's like my life. And I was conscious of like, so like when I was eating like heavy meats, like, or like heavy pastas and stuff like that, I would fall asleep like within hour I would fall asleep. I remember I went to a Dodger game and I ate a Dodger dog, like the bun and everything. I slept through the 7th inning. I like was so lethargic that I just slept. And that like kind of happened my whole life. I never felt energized after eating and all that stuff. So I basically transitioned to like just a primarily fish diet. So I eat mainly fish, and I and then other vegetables, plant-based stuff, and things like that. But mainly I eat fish. I also I treat sugar and white flour like they are drugs, and I completely abstain from them. I do not eat any sugar. I do not eat any flour, white flour at all.
I'm totally with you. I love hearing this. This makes my heart so happy because I love when I hear this from people.
And you made my heart happy because you said that you eat fish, which makes me curious. In the time that you were spending on Survivor, did you do the spearfishing or any of those that you see them doing on TV? Like, I would love to hear about that.
We'll get to that. I promise. We'll get to Survivor. And Julie she's so excited to talk to you.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm excited to tell you.
So when you got back from serving and everything, like, what was your life like? Like, I know that you had some struggles, and then we want to hear how did that work out for you, and how did you make other changes to your life after that?
Yeah, when I first came back, I think anybody who's served, we'll talk about this, like, reacclimating or whatever. And I was so young. I mean, I was over there when I was 18, 19 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so you haven't developed into who you are yet, so when you come back, you're still growing. You have all these emotions, you have all this stuff. And like, I was in a relationship that didn't work out, and because of the distance, but I thought I was in love and this person was the one. And I, so I was like super heartbroken. And then I was also, my family life at that particular time was also extremely difficult. Between my brother winding up, my brother was in jail and my mom was really super sick, and my dad had a lot of health issues as well. And so it took a long time for me to kind of get my footing, kind of get my family stabilized and all this stuff. And, I think that there's this like weird gap when you come home from overseas where you are trying to return home and you expect everybody to be the person that they were when you left, and they expect you to be the person you were when you left. So like you have all of these expectations coming and kind of clashing with each other. And so I struggled with it, and I wound up, dealing with that through drugs and alcohol, and ended up abusing both of those substances to the point of where, I ended up having to get help. And after I did, I realized that like life's too short, and I didn't go through all this stuff to not go after my dream and follow my dream and all of that stuff. And so, after that, I had already moved out to LA at that point, but I really started to like hyper focus on my career and kind of making my dreams come true after that moment. So that was kind of like what it was like coming home.
So after you came home, this is the part Julie's very excited about. How do you end up on Survivor? Like, you're a comedian. Like, do they just like walk around the casting agents going, hey, this guy over here is funny, he might add something to the cast? Or because I thought it was mostly normal people, right?
Were you a comic at that point, or were you doing other things? Or
yeah. So I was a comic. I was also acting, writing. I was in the full throes. I was in the full throes of trying to make it in Los Angeles at this time, but doing a very terrible job at it, very unsuccessful job. But this was me starting, I had checked myself into a rehab facility and started the process of getting my life back together. And at the time I was dating somebody who unfortunately was not, and was still, struggling with their own demons. And so she had this dog. And I knew that the dog needed somebody to go check on it and go get it go walk it. And I was also trying to get the dog a new home. So I check out of the rehab facility, go get the dog, start walking it. I'm on the phone trying to figure this whole thing out. And a car pulls over on the side of the road, and this woman gets out, and she's like, "Hey, have you ever thought about being on Survivor?" And I mean, I am just like in the middle of everything. Like, what? I don't even have time for this. What's happening? Is this a joke?
Random. Yeah.
So I tell her no. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because I'm not going to be some reality TV show star, because I'm a serious actor and comedian, and I don't want that to ruin my career. And then she goes, how's your career going right now? And I was she nailed it. And I said, you know what? On second thought, you know what? Let me get your business card. And so she got my business card. I had to do all the same things that everybody else had to do. You know, I had to submit a video. I had to go through the physical testing, casting process, had to meet with everybody, all that stuff. And then a month later, I wound up making it. But for all of the things that come from being on Survivor, the thing that I credit it the most for was it was like a God shot or the universe or somebody like reaching down and saying, and doing for me what I could not do for myself. Honestly, I was just so lost, so trying to put the pieces together, so stuck. And, you know, I just feel like, you know, God just like was like, here's a path. I want you to take it. I got you. And I just took it, and it saved my life. It legitimately did. And I really feel like from that day forward, the life I live now began. Like my career started, everything got jump started. I became the person I am now, and it was a wonderful thing.
What happened to the dog that you were walking that day?
The dog found a very lovely home. Yes. Okay.
Amazing. So you would say that's probably your defining moment that then catapulted you into your next phase of life, right?
Yes. That was a huge moment. I credit Survivor for that.
And so let's go back to the fishing thing. So you love fish. Had you ever like caught your own food before, or like how was that situation?
So, I mean, you know, I grew up fishing with my grandfather, but not in that same way, right? Not like we had poles and stuff like that, but it wasn't like spear fishing or anything. So like, yeah, I mean, that was intense. I mean, there's no joke. They give you a little bit of rice. Mm-hmm. You get a bag of rice for everybody, and that's it. They're not sliding you food. They're not slipping you food. They're not giving you anything or whatever. I mean, in 2 weeks, I lost 20 pounds. And that's how little you eat and how much you move. There's no like secret producers or secret eating. You are not bathing. You are pooping in the woods and water and all of that stuff. It is legit. It is not produced. Yeah.
Wow. That sounds like a nightmare to me, but I'm not much for camping, although I know how to fish, but camping, not so much. What was your time on Survivor? Like, I admittedly stopped watching Survivor after the first 2 seasons because it freaked me out so bad. But Julie loves it.
Yeah, I got cast, and you asked me what my time was like.
Yeah, like being there, like what was the experience like for you?
Yeah, so other than the vote out, the experience was great, right? So you leave this like rehab facility where you're sleeping on cots with other people, and it's weird, and then and then you basically go to paradise. You basically go to like a tropical island where you have no worries in the world. No one has your phone number. Nobody has your email address. You can't watch TV. You don't know what's going on. Nobody can bother you. You don't have to pay any bills. It is like there's very few times where you get to totally be off the grid. And that is one of them. That is like maybe one of the last things that will take you completely off the grid. And I was off the grid, and it slowed my mind down, and it slowed my body down, and helped me deal with some PTSD things that I was working through, and it helped me deal with some other things because I just felt like I had no like stop, you know what I mean? And so that was great. Now, as far as the gameplay stuff, I was having a good time, but unfortunately, I'm sure Julie knows this. There was a villain of my season called Colton, who is, I think, unanimously a villain in Survivor's history because I think he came back maybe the next season or a season after that. 2 seasons, sorry, it was 2 seasons after that, and once again was a villain. And so, unfortunately, Colton wound up being a racist kid from Alabama who did not like me because I was black and said so on the show, and wound up, getting me kicked off. And then there was this blow up at Tribal Council where he told me that I should get a real job because doing comedy isn't a real job. And I stood up for myself and said that I'm following my dream. Anybody who follows their dreams knows that you can't give up on them. And, I kind of spoke my piece because at that point, I think he came from a very wealthy family in Alabama, so he didn't really understand what struggle was, that kind of thing. And so, but because of that incident, the next season I got to host the Survivor Live After Show for the first time. And so I got a chance to do all of it was like, bam, okay, I could start doing things and making stuff happen. And I started doing, comedy and all the acting and stuff like that full time. So it was great.
I was telling Ashley the story the other day that my mom's friend's brother was on Survivor like years ago, and her friend was saying one day that she was just like so bored with life and needed something amazing to happen. And she got a call from a casting director, and they were like, "Can you get on a plane to Tahiti tomorrow?" And she ended up on like where she got to see her brother and stuff. He ended up getting like eliminated that one, but like how crazy is that? Like one day you're like, I am so bored. You get a call like, want to get on a plane and go over there? So that's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I mean, Colton didn't win your season, so good things don't happen to bad people. So
no, he didn't. Yeah.
At all. Were you able to draw inspiration in your comedy from your time in the military as well as in Survivor? Like, what is it that is the motivation for your show? I mean, I know it's the talent show that you're going to. Is it like the comedy from like being in high school, or like where does your inspiration come from?
Yeah, so it's definitely my own personal experience stuff. But I want to do an actual like military show and a comedy show. But this coming back will be, just kind of like some of it'll just be like observational humor around things like, when did we all grow up and have to do, things like that, pay bills and all that stuff. Like, God, remember when we were just kids and it was just simple and we solved things like without lawyers and all of this stuff. When like two people had a problem with each other, there wasn't passive aggressive like tweets and texts and stuff like this. We just used to race each other. We used to just go on the playground and just race. We played rock, paper, scissors. Like, what happened to those things? Just it's nostalgic, but it also is about my family. So I hope it's super relatable to a whole bunch of other people's families. I coined the phrase that my dad, so I'm biracial, and like my dad was he was like basically a black activist who married a white woman just to complain about her being white, I think, most of the time. And so,
her mother.
That and I talk about, just like my family, me, what it's like in my head when I think about, stuff like having to go to friends' weddings and like how annoying that is, especially how difficult that they make it and how expensive it is. And like, just, I think things that we're all dealing with and stuff like that. So
than kids.
Yeah. I know. It's nuts, but like, I think that it's something for everybody, whether you are, whatever, rich, poor, man, woman, all this stuff. I try and make it pretty universal and observational in the way that I do comedy. Yeah.
You come from a biracial family. So you said what did your mom do? If your dad was a black activist, basically, and your mom, what did she do?
So my mom was a nurse. So she, my dad was like they were both in the Air Force when they met. And so, and my dad, like, started like an all black group in the Air Force that was like, because this is in the 70s, right? So it's like, they were, he tried to start the first Black Firemen's Union in Springfield. So like he was always, civil rights conscious, always somebody who, made sure that we were aware of like Black history and where we came from and all of that stuff. And he fell in love with my mom. And so, yeah, he would always, he's the funniest guy. He's a hypocrite, like, but like the funniest guy of all time, because, he would be like, behave, listen to your mother, but like, don't trust your mom's family, it would be stuff like that. And so my dad is just such a character, and he's somebody who I try and imbibe on stage and bring out the essence of who he was. Unfortunately, my dad passed away.
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. But he's a lot of my comedy comes from observing him, even though I would say that he didn't think I was very funny.
So your poor mother must have had the patience of a saint, because if your father would make jokes like that and he was very outspoken, and then she had a son who's a comic. So basically her whole life was like commentary.
Yeah. No, my mom,
her whole life, everything she did.
Yeah, my mom is definitely a saint. She was, so kind and just such a generous woman. And she's, was always laughing, always having a good time. My mom was great.
I'm going to ask you a loaded question here. Does your mom think you're funny? Like, because my mom does, like, I think I'm hilarious, but my mom does not find me to be funny at all. So I'm curious, like, does your mom like your comedy?
My mom thinks I'm perfect. So that's, because what it is mothers don't think their daughters are funny and fathers don't think their sons are. And that's how it should, that's the delineation. Like, mothers think that their sons are funny and dads think that their daughters are funny. Like, that's the perfect thing. Everything else, when it's the direct mother, daughter, father, son, it's all challenging. It's all trying to get their approval. It's all, it's a different relationship.
You're pretty spot on, because I don't think my daughter's funny at all, but my husband thinks she's hilarious. And I'm like,
there's something wrong with me, because my mother thinks I'm amusing all the time, and I don't think I'm that funny at all. But Julie finds me amusing from time. She goes, "Oh my God, I watched something of yours and you were so funny." And I'm like, I don't think I'm that funny.
I just love messing with my mom, like on texts. And they're so funny, the conversation. And I'll send it to like all of my friends. And like, they're like, "Leave your poor mother alone." I'm like, I can't help it. I'm like, she leaves herself open, for these. Remember those memes that used to be online where it was like the text where it would just see the funny.
Yeah.
That was exactly where I went to go.
So you do all these things like writing and acting and a comedian, and you've been on some really cool shows. Is there something really amazing you've done as an actor that you're like super proud of or had the most fun with? Like, what do you think?
Yeah. One of my proudest things, the thing I'm most proud of is, I did a one-man show, which is live performance, which, wound up getting picked up Off-Broadway in New York. And it won the Off-Broadway Award for Best Solo Show. And that was like my favorite thing. And it heavily speaks into kind of just like the biracial experience in America and like what it's like coming from both sides and trying to fit in. And, it's very comedic, very funny, talks a lot about growing up in Massachusetts during that time and what it means to kind of tell everybody to go screw themselves and just own who you are, And so I wrote that show during a time in my life, it's just that like, that age where you're 28, you're like turning 30 and you're just like, all right, who am I going to be? You know what I mean? Like, it's time to like settle into who I am. And I want to start doing that. Now, I don't think I've fully gotten there, but I've definitely taken some strides to get closer to that. And so that show kind of came out of that like discovery of like, okay, I'm not a 20-year-old kid anymore. I got to like put some roots down and start making my mark in this world.
That's amazing. I unfortunately at that age was not well enough to really think about those things. So we were talking about with another person we interviewed that I experienced those things you experience in your 20s, like in your 30s, because I had like arrested development because I was sick for so long. So I still think I'm experiencing the things that you should have when you were younger.
Yeah. And I mean, I think if you allow yourself, I mean, I think for me, people in my life have to be growing. And if you're telling me right now you're happy with who you are, that you're not trying to grow and evolve and put yourself out there and try new things or whatever, it's hard for me to maintain, because I want to be growing and I want to be doing new things. I want to be trying new stuff. And I think that self-discovery should be happening on a regular basis. You know, I'm not saying you shouldn't be happy with who you are. You absolutely should. But like, you know, people were like, this is as good as it's going to get. And this is all that I have. And I don't need to make anything in my life better. I'm happy and complacent with the misery. Then like, we're good. We're good. You can stay stuck. I'm cool.
Have you like made any like really amazing connections in the comedy world that like, are there people you want to work with as actors or people that are comedians you want to work with or that you admire?
Oh man, so many. I mean, all my friends are comedians, right? We've all come up together, and whether that is like improv or sketch or writers or whatever, I think that those are amazing. And like I've gotten to work with some amazing, like, you know, I just was on the show for Apple Shrinking, so I got to work with like Harrison Ford and Jason Segel, and you know, just like these people who are like heroes of mine. And you know, writing on Cobra Kai, I got to like work with the whole cast of The Karate Kid, and like that was like a movie me and my dad watched like growing up, and it was just super special and so amazing. And you know, scenes with this guy, and I'm just like, I can't believe this is happening. And so I've been very lucky and fortunate to do all these things. And yeah, I mean, I've shared the stage with like, God, some of the, you know, biggest and best comics. And I'm just so excited to keep doing it and growing and getting a chance to work with more and more people. And I'm very lucky. I'm so happy to get to do the thing that I love for a living.
And you're one of the greatest too. I mean, you're headlining your own show in Mass. That's amazing. So you gotta, as much as you're saying that you like to work with the greats, like you are one of the greats too. Like you've had such an amazing journey, you know, to get where you are. So I'm sure the people you work with are like, I get to work with Bill. Like, it's the same time.
Well, yes, thank you. Of all the work I've done on myself, I'm not quite there yet, but we will get to it. I swear we will get to it. But yeah, no, I constantly have to be reminded to stop and take account. And I think we all do, like stop and just look at the life that you have from where you started, and like, just honestly, just sit in it for a minute and give yourself a pat on the back. Everyone, you know, just like you should, because the fact that you have gotten to do the things that you've gotten to do, whether it's me or anybody, we don't do that enough. We're always like more, next, not there, not yet, whatever, next goal. And so being able to sit in your accomplishments is something that I've never been great at, but I need to work on more and more. So thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. And fun fact, I too have met Harrison Ford when he was filming Indiana Jones in New Haven. He filmed in my basement, and Callista's brother, Gary, lives down the street from me. So yeah, that's my fun fact of the day. So we have something else in common over here.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
so
I went
nice.
to the lobby of my apartment, and him and Callista were just standing there waiting for filming to start for the day. So I met him years ago, but Shia too, actually.
He's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, normal, just a normal guy. Yeah.
Normal guy. Yeah.
That's actually a fun fact that like all over New England, especially where we live in Western Mass, there's so many like Netflix and shows or the movies that have filmed all throughout here. They were filming a movie in downtown Springfield over there.
Oh, really?
I have no idea what it was for, but all I know is Brittany Snow was in it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was talking, one of my dreams, the next dream after performing here is I want to bring like a movie back to Western Mass and like shoot it there, and make it. I think it would be so awesome and just so cool to do that.
Are you a New England sports fan, being from the...
Oh, dude.
No? Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, of course.
Let's not talk about football.
Oh,
Okay.
we can't. I can.
I'm done. I'm just done.
It's over. I can. It's over. It's over. I'm. Oh, so brokenhearted. It's so.
So am I.
But I am a. But look, Celtics are good. We got that. We just fired the GM of the Red Sox because that was a. Yeah, get rid of Mookie Betts. Genius. There's nothing worse. So I was at Dodger Stadium when we won the World Series.
Oh.
I was there, dude. And then to watch Mookie come here, to be here, and literally Mookie is everywhere around LA. His photos everywhere, his jerseys everywhere. So I have to he was like my favorite player. And so to see it happen is so sad. But yes.
I'm a hockey girl, though. I love hockey.
Dude, Game 7 round 1 exit of last year broke my heart, man.
Yeah.
To have the best hockey team ever assembled on planet Earth for that season and for them to just be taken out, it was awful. And then the Heat took out the Celtics. It was just like Miami was just decimating, like Florida was just decimating New England sports teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, which was really weird when you think about it, about the teams that took us out, because like you think like warm weather doesn't take you out in hockey, but hey, whatever.
Yeah. No, it was crazy. I was so upset.
I never realized how much people hated the Patriots until I went to a sales meeting in the South and they played them coming back from the Eagles games. And then all these people would raise their hand. They're like, why did you have to use that clip? Like they got really offended. And I was I didn't realize that there was so much hatred, towards them. So I keep it quiet.
Dude, this is how you know I'm a real fan. And like, you guys are probably, it's like, oh, I can't believe you don't like this person. I can't believe you like this person. Can you imagine what it is like being a black man out in the world and going to the mattresses for Tom Brady? Do you know how hard that is?
Oh, God.
People are like, dude, it is crazy. It's crazy. I look like a psychopath, but I do it. I've done it. I fought for it. I've been there. So, that's a real fan. That is a real fan.
That's love. That's actual
love.
Like team love. No, when you come home to do your show, which is in a week.
2 weeks.
December, 2 weeks. Okay. I don't even know what day of the week it is. So please forgive me. It's been a long week. There was something about a documentary mentioned to me.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about this a little more. I'm very fascinated by this.
Yes. So because of what we're doing, the talent show, and we are introducing all this talent, I really, really, really wanted to capture just that Western Mass just has so much talent, and like that there are really great people here. And I wanted to shoot some of these people's stories and some of their journeys. I mean, there is a mother of two, and her, new husband, or not new husband, but their stepfather. They're a couple who sings in local breweries, and like she is a physical therapist. Her name is Sarah, and she works so hard.
I know her very well. Yes.
Yes. She works so hard helping all these other people, and she works so hard helping her family. And ever since her mom passed away, she's become the matriarch of her family, and she is constantly giving of other people. And when she's on stage, that's for her. and she gets to sing and she gets to perform. And so she's never done it on a stage this big. And I want to give her a chance to do that. And I want the world to see how talented she is. There's another woman, her name's Dee Dee. She basically was an actress and, applied to NYU and Juilliard and all these places. And she was went to Central and ended up not going to pursue her acting career because, a guy wound up, asking her not to leave, and she ended up sticking around. And I know that she basically stopped acting and she hasn't been on stage in 23 years. And so this is her first time performing again.
That is beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then there's a guy who's I think he's a first generation American, and his dad and mom have, pushed him to do all of these things. And he wound up, going for his doctorate and becoming a psychotherapist, and then realized one time in his life that he just wasn't happy. He wanted to do something for him. And so he stopped and decided to pursue comedy. And so he's been doing that for 5 years now. And so this is his biggest show. And he's trying to show his dad that this is more than a dream. It's what he wants to do. And so and then obviously me coming home. So these stories are just so great and so magical. And the people from Springfield and Western Mass are so great that we were like, let's document this. Let's put a camera on this stuff. And we hope to have a premiere in Springfield, invite people out to come see it, and then also put it on Springfield Public Access for people to see and submit it to festivals and all this other stuff around America.
Because I was going to say, do you hope to get it picked up by someone or anything like that? I know Sarah, and she's a wonderful human being. We actually won a regional. We got Business West 40 under 40 this year, and she was sitting at my table, and I had no idea she follows my stuff and my food and all those things. She's like, oh my God, you made the most amazing thing the other day. And I tell people about you, and I'm like, oh my God, you were the sweetest person on the world. And I got to meet her husband. They're wonderful people.
They are. Yeah. They're really, really great. And so, in me getting an opportunity to do this, I wanted to give other people an opportunity to do something as well and shine a light on them. And I hope that this does that. And at the very least, I hope that all of these people, know that they're talented and, can feel that feeling that you feel when you nail something. And like, it is the best feeling in the world. And I honestly, I feel like a worried parent. I'm more nervous for that. I feel like I'm so more nervous for them than I am for myself. Like if I bomb, I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. That's okay. I can take that. But if I just like, I'm like, I need you guys to do so good. Please do good. Everyone love them. They're so good.
You're like a nervous parent.
I am. I'm so nervous. But they're going to be great. They all are working really, really hard and doing the best that they can. And I think they're going to wow everybody.
People want to embrace you. You're a hometown boy. Of course, they're going to want to embrace you and have a good time. At the very least, there's a bar. They'll just get drunk and be really happy.
Yeah. So, so that's the show. That's what the documentary element is, okay. And that's why we're shooting it.
Can you tell everybody where to get tickets? I've been putting up your Facebook and your IG, and I know there's stuff on there, but can you tell them where they can go to purchase tickets? Do you know?
Yeah. Specifically, go to the Roar Comedy Club website. They will have a ticket purchase option, and that's through Ticketmaster, and you'll be able to get tickets. No problem. It's general admission. So you buy one ticket and then it's kind of like a first come, first serve thing. There's going to be a ton of surprises and a ton of like, I promise you, you've never seen a show like this before. There's going to be different acts, weird things, guest stuff. Like there's just going to be, you've never seen a show like this.
Weird things. That's a way to sell it. Come see the weird things I have going.
Put your hand into this box. You never know what's going to happen. Yeah.
So my last thing for you is we always have people do two questions. I always ask them, where do they think they're going to be? Like if we interviewed them a year from now, is usually what I'll ask them. And then you get 1 minute to say whatever you want to the viewers that you want them to know, not just like come to my show.
And I have one question too, and I want to know your coffee order too, or tea, what you get in the mornings.
Julie's obsessed with this. Yeah.
Does it have to be an order or how I make it?
I mean, whatever. You're the one that is going to be the one that has to drink it. So how are you going to drink it? What way do you take it?
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. So almond milk, 8 ounces, and then another 1 ounce of cold brew coffee, heated up for 2 minutes. Then I take it out of that and I put matcha green tea in it, right? Hold on. So then I put blackstrap molasses, MCT oil, lion's mane, collagen peptides, peanut butter protein, and then hot water with stevia, okay? And then I blend all of that up. And if you think that I'm exaggerating.
This is so California.
That's like, couldn't be more of an LA coffee order.
I was like, you live in California. You can totally tell.
This is my science lab where I make all of my drinks. So I do like my own version of like bulletproof, like coffee, like MCT oil coffee, high functioning coffee or whatever. So yeah.
That's amazing.
That's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why I asked. I wanted to know if, you know what I mean? If you really want
No, I believe you. I believe you.
So where are you going to be for a year? And give us a minute to tell us what's next.
Yeah.
Okay. So where am I going to be next year? Okay. Next year, if you were to ask me, I will be directing and starring in a movie that I've written.
Okay.
Yes. That is going to be, hopefully made and produced and all that stuff. That's where I'll be a year from now. And then the last thing I want to just leave the audience with a 1 minute thing. I do 1 minute. You can tell the audience anything you want, any advice, anything you want to share, anything. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. Okay. Okay.
I stumped
him. Okay. All right. I guess it's just something that something I'm working on in my own life is I think that the human experience so I'll keep it really light. I think that the human experience is somewhere between pushing and letting go, right? You cannot, nothing will happen if you just sit down and let your life pass you by, but you also cannot move a brick wall. And so I think that you have to have a healthy balance of going after what you want, but also letting the seeds that you have planted grow. And if you can find the balance of that, I think that to me is a happy, successful life. So that way you're not always stressed about why things aren't happening, but you're also not just resentful because nothing's happening because you're not doing anything. So if I could say anything is try and find the line of pushing and letting go. That's like my thing for today. That's what I'm working on is I'm trying
Universe has our back, basically.
Yes.
I love that. Bill, it was a pleasure to have you. Julie and I had so much fun with you. Good luck at your show at Roar.
Thank you.
We can't wait to see you. Make sure you guys follow Bill on IG and on Facebook for more details about the upcoming show. So if you're in the area, please come get tickets. And there's some amazing things going to happen.
And be prepared.
Are one or both of you guys going to be there?
I am going to try to make it one of the nights. Yes.
I will be in South Carolina, unfortunately, but
what part?
Hilton Head.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's on vacation.
I'm going on vacation. Yeah. Sorry. I'm going to be spearfishing there. So.
Oh, yeah. All right.
But I will be in town, and our mutual friend will make sure I go. Trust me.
Okay.
All right. So have a good day, Bill. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Take care.
Bye, Bill.
All right, everyone. Stay tuned for some amazing things. We have a holiday special coming up on December 3rd. So make sure you all tune in. It's December 3rd at 1 p.m. live. We are going live, people.
So anything can happen on live TV. So we'll be having all of the craziness and all that. But yeah, excited to have you there, and come hang out with us on our Instagram. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, and please join us for all of the holiday festive fun. Now, everyone, have